All right. So if you want to improve your Amazon PPC campaigns, you are in the right spot because we're going to be answering questions about Amazon PPC. And I'm super excited to have on guest expert Igor Nahovek. Hopefully, I was even close to the ballpark.
That's close,
there.
yeah.
That was close. That was close. I kept asking him, and he kept saying, "Oh yeah, you're close enough. You're close enough." So super nice guy. Igor from Amazonia PPC is joining us. So Igor, thank you for joining us here to talk about Amazon PPC.
Hi, Kevin. It's my absolute pleasure. I'm glad to speak with you.
Yes, well, super excited to have you here. So, for those who have been here before, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome. Igor, I'll let you give a quick little intro of yourself.
I started doing Amazon PPC in 2016 together with my wife Yelena when we formed the company officially, but we started doing PPC back in 2014. At that time, only Google Ads for 2 or 3 years, then added Facebook ads. We headed to Facebook completely. It was buggy, but I keep hearing that it's still the case, but it works well for some
Yeah,
people.
some things never change.
Yeah, some things never change, but some do. And then in 2016, a colleague told us that since we are good at Google PPC, that we should probably try helping people with Amazon ads too. And we tried, so it was a start of a pretty nice journey. So far, it's been around 8 years, and we love it. We used to have pretty interesting experiences selling advertising different brands. So yeah, so far so good, I would say.
Well, nice. So the good news is it sounds like you've gotten to see a lot of what works and what doesn't over the years.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's still very often uh, funny when I see an update from Amazon like, hey, this is the new functionality, we're going to give you this little puzzle of a data. And when I compare that to Google had that like 15 years ago available to everyone, so you can just
Right. They're always behind Google. Yeah.
Yeah, but like at least 10 years, but still, okay, they're gonna eventually be there. But it's a funny thing, no? Like, hey, we can have this data. For example, even today, you don't have data on your mobile versus desktop traffic on your business reports, at least not to the full extent as we wish, while Google had that 10 years ago, and it was crucial information to optimize your website. Here, it would be translated to how to optimize your product listing based on that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting stuff. So just as a reminder, folks, get your PPC questions answered. Ask them into the comments there. There are no bad questions. The only bad question is the question you should have asked and never got around to asking. Because I can promise you, whatever question you have, other people have as well. And it does not make you look silly or dumb. It actually makes you look like you're in charge. So with that, we'll get into some questions here. We do have some questions starting to jump in. So the first one we got is from Royce asks, I was advised to increase my bids to suggested bids, so Amazon suggestions, during peak selling hours when my product sells the most and lessen the bid during off-peak. But I ended up going over by day and sales were still normal and no organic sales. What could I have done differently going over, as in budget, way over?
Way over.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would need a complete context, what was happening and at what stage the product is in. Is it early product launch or the honeymoon already passed? But I will answer in general. Yeah. Amazon suggested bid similar to Helium 10 suggested bid. Helium 10 offers that numbers for US marketplace, but unfortunately not for European ones. But if you're in US, you can see even the Helium 10 suggested bids. Now, the both pieces of information, you should not take that too seriously. Even the Amazon suggested bid or Helium 10 suggested bid. For example, Helium, what Helium suggests you, and similar to Amazon, is an estimation how high you will be bidding for some average results. So in reality, what it typically start with during the product launch, depending, is it for a new, for absolutely first product, or I don't know, 20th product, is depending on your plans and category and how aggressive you would like to be. But in, let's say that's your 20th product, I would usually go by at least 50% in maximum suggested bid to start with, because I've seen cases where, for example, you can see $2 bid as a max suggested, and when you start bidding in 2 or 3 days, you will see that's going to be $4 or $5 per click if you want to aim high. So it's not, they never told you that like that's what you're going to pay. Similar to Helium 10, they tell you that what's the minimum maximum suggested bid to rank on top half of the page. But top half of the page, that CPR number of theirs, which is very important, is for positions 1 through 16. So it doesn't matter that, okay, if you ever get to the position 16, then in keyword tracker you will see that like not available, since you're already there, so the CPR number doesn't exist. So to answer you the questions from, what was the name, Roish. I wander off with my thoughts, but how high you would need to start? Yeah, I would lower the price definitely. I know that's what Steven always suggests.
Okay. So before you get into that, I don't think the audience has the context here because I didn't go over all of the things. So other parts of the context here is new products, high-end quality, it shows in the pictures, which if you've not done this already, run a PickFu poll. Even just having people like give you their feedback on your listing. Oftentimes is brutally honest, and sometimes brutal is the right word, but it's good to know what other people think, other than we may think it's great quality, but it may not be communicating what you think it should. Slowly increasing the prices as you go, which is, as Igor mentioned, the strategy that Steven recommends. Should I launch list price of $15.99 to slowly increase to $34.99, but also offer a $20 coupon? Yeah, what are your thoughts on pricing? Sorry, as I interrupted you earlier with that.
Yeah, I would definitely start with lower pricing and slowly increase. And don't worry what people will think, like, why is it so cheap? Because there are options that you can get a strike-through price and those other fancy things. But definitely lower the price as much as you can, because you're aiming for a long term success, not to be profitable during the product launch. That it's very rarely the case that you will be profitable. So in the first several months, you're going to be losing money, but you're going to gain momentum, you're going to gain organic ranking, and then you'll be seeing profit. So yeah, go as low as you can, and then support that with your PPC. Definitely, in terms of those hourly data, you can just settle in to have X amount of sales if your budget doesn't allow it to go that aggressive. If you can pay $2, pay $2. If not, go crazy with the spend.
Got it. And then just as a follow-up, Roish said it was Noah's recommendation, Noah Wickham from our team, who does a Friday Q&A session, which definitely recommend folks check out. Shameless plug there. Honeymoon ended last month. I was told to increase bids when I'm selling the most and decrease during the quiet time. It's only 2 ASINs, 1 campaign. I was ranking better. So my thought is there are no sacred cows on Amazon. I don't know if you feel differently with that, Igor. I'm sure Noah's suggestion probably works, and he's seen it work in other places, but there's always a disclaimer on any advice is that it depends. There's always an it depends on everything, and sometimes you just have to try it out to see if it works in your case. Any thoughts, Igor?
Yeah, it's all about a testing. I'm trying to give Roish something like a definite tip for
okay,
the situation.
Something actionable.
It's really hard because there's so much context to that. So because your honeymoon ended last month, then everything is gonna start moving a little bit slower for you. And that was a good advice to increase bids during your best hours, because that's where your conversion rate is the best. But at the same time, what you witnessed is that competition is the greatest at that time. So that's what you have to choose your heart. So It's a
True.
tough play out there. So, but if that makes give you more sales, as you know, you're gonna see a better organic ranking over time.
All right, good deal. All right, I'm skipping around, but I'm going to try to do the questions in order somewhat. Ubaid says, "Hello, dude." Well, hello, Ubaid. Then Sups I-Fi. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that. Hey guys, how do you prepare for Q4? That could be a very long-winded answer, but I'll let Igor take it first.
Yeah. Well, my take on that, as I would answer the same if you asked me for Prime Day, how do you prepare for Christmas and how you prepare for Spring Prime Day. My answer is always the same, and it's not sweet. It's like there's no preparation for Q4. There's no preparation for Prime Day. You need to start preparing for those days from the day one. So there is no secret sauce. There is no secret hack. For Q4, you need to be ready in August. You need to stock up. You need to work on your listings during the low times when everybody is on holidays, on seaside, enjoying. That's when you go crazy with the big fool, with everything, testing to be ready October 1st. That your listing is maxed out. So that's it. No special thing about it. So there's no hack what to do. It's all about the basics, and that's the boring stuff. So I was talking with I was doing the podcast the other day, and a colleague of mine asked me similar thing, and we agree that just if I showed up in the middle of an audience of 200 people and I said, "Hey guys, optimize your listings, like don't get your listings photoshopped, etc." Just like freaky Photoshop listings, and everybody would feel bad about it because I didn't say anything new. But I guarantee that at least half of people in the audience didn't do that, and they're aiming for hacks. So just let's do the basics, and then we're gonna talk about more. We don't jump to doing 100 push-ups. We cannot do 6.
Good point. And I think part of it also is fundamentally is make sure you have enough inventory in stock. So like right now, I sell myself, and I'm really anxious about Amazon receiving. So if you've never been through Q4, Amazon will give these deadlines of like, you must have everything in by October 19th to be ready for Black Friday. That's somewhat of an arbitrary number. It's not like if stuff is received on like November 1st, it's not going to be available for sale. But what might happen is it could be in fulfillment center transfer for an extended period of time. And if it's in fulfillment center transfer, instead of 1 or 2 day Prime Day shipping times, it might be quote the customer like 2-3 weeks. It's like right now it might say available October 7th for delivery, which would be awful. Like something that's received today that someone's trying to buy, but it's an FC transfer, which I'm curious other people's thoughts, but I've noticed lately they're an FC transfer a lot more often lately. And I've heard other people say that. So I'm curious if other people here are seeing that too. But make sure you got enough inventory, get ahead of the game, and give yourself more lead time to get things in. Now, some of that is if you're placing orders with China and it takes 2 months to arrive, just pray that stuff can at least help you on the backside of the holiday season, which at least for me is the busiest time, because we're running out of time. I'll just say that. So you want to get your stuff into FBA as quickly as possible, or AWD. And if you get it to AWD, think of more like the stuff that's like the reinforcements, and what you get into FBA is what you need for at least the holiday season, or for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, maybe first week of December. So that's my 2 cents. But I totally agree with Igor. It's all about the fundamentals, because PPC is not that different Q4 versus the rest of the year. It's just the numbers are bigger.
Yeah.
I should say this, the numbers are bigger as far as the how much you spend, but oftentimes your ACoS, if you do it right, is lower. But I do see a lot of, I don't know if you see this in other niches. I have a very giftable niche, and I tend to find that a lot of times my ACoS will go up a little bit for people just shopping around, and then it quickly starts to go down up until about like December 17th, December 20th ish. then creeps back up when people are just window shopping with their gift cards. All right. So next question is, hi there. How many reviews are enough in supplement category to compete with the competitors? Right now, I have only 34 reviews, and competitors have more than 100. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on how much you need reviews? Or let me ask the question, backtracking a bit. Do you need reviews before you turn on a PPC?
In supplements, definitely. I would say you definitely need them, but there's that catch 22. With PPC, you can push more sales, and with more sales, you'll get more reviews like that. Yeah. But for supplements, strictly 34, if those 34 are high ratings, but 34 is an okay for a start. So that's okay. But if you can do that, launch those variations of 2-pack, 3-pack, and roll them in wine, and then combine them to have a boost in reviews, that's gonna give you a big push towards more sales. So there's no right amount of reviews, but with 34 reviews, like, you are a million miles away better than somebody with 14. So that's huge. That's not 20. That's like huge difference. So but you'll get there. So just keep pushing and remove any negative. There are those services that offer removing negative reviews, and I was really blown away how many of those can be removed. Like, if they use curse words, that those can be removed, or if they comment that on some other stuff. That's a different topic, but use that as well, so you max out on those 34 to be as close to 5 stars as possible.
Gotcha. And that only works if they leave comments, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it used to be Amazon required you to leave a comment in order to leave a review, or I guess you have to leave a review with text in addition to your rating. And now you can just leave the rating over the last couple of years, which is good because it gets you more ratings, and your number of star ratings has gone up. But when someone leaves you a 1 star, you're like, what's the problem?
Yeah, and I saw that they're gonna. I think John Durkis shared that on LinkedIn, that Amazon is plans to add that double tap review, like double tap on screen and give you a review. So we'll see that coming.
When you say double tap your screen, like there's another confirmation.
Something like that. It just he just announced it like a few hours ago. I think he heard that from Amazon Accelerate or something. That's something that's gonna come, like, to increase the number of reviews coming. They're gonna add some functionality, like just similar on Instagram, when you double tap, you like the product or not, something like that. So we'll see. But I think it's gonna be maybe it's not gonna have that weight as a written review, definitely. But we'll see that in the future.
Oh, excuse me. All right. Good deal. All right. And then, folks, if you have more questions, now is a good time to ask them. So we are about a third of the way into this. As I was mentioning before, when we get to the end, usually there's like a momentum with reviews. So what happens is we stay on longer. People are asking questions. The algorithm starts giving us more viewers. And as the algorithm gives us more viewers, more people chime in with questions, more people chime in with questions, the algorithm gives us more viewers. Then we run out of time. So right now, there's a few questions in queue, which I'll get to here in a moment. So you have a very good shot of getting your question answered by Igor by jumping in now. But now is the time. So I don't mean to create false urgency, but now is the time. All right. So Royce asked another question. Second question was for a new product, not the first question. Hasn't launched yet for second. I'm not sure I'm following that one. Maybe we misunderstood. If you can rewrite the question.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I thought we were giving us context. We may have overlapped our advices there, which would be my fault. All right. So then Mohammed asks, how many ratings and stars are recommended for PPC for best product launch? Yes. So let's say not in supplements. Do you have people wait for like 5, 10, or just go? So if you're selling I don't know, coasters or something.
Well, if you don't have any options to enroll in Vine or whatever, and you're just starting out, then I don't know, at least a few would be better than zero. So
Mhm.
if you can ask somebody, I don't know, uh, really carefully to leave your review, that would be better. Like 2 or 3, I would start with 2 or 3. If you really want to use your honeymoon period, then I would start at least with a 2 or 3 just to get it going and not to lose
Mhm.
that momentum. So of course I would be more happy to start with 15 and 20, but 3 or 4, that's already like a good number. It means that there were some sales before those reviews and people are more willing to buy.
Very good.
I mean, let's be real. Uh, it's like that. So I would say like, hey, don't start without 50, but how to get to 50? There's no chance to get to 50 and then start a product launch without a Vine. So I don't know. Those are we can easily enter the gray zone or black zone about it. So, but in
Yeah, I'll
reality,
always, gray sometimes can be okay, but be very cautious in the gray zone,
yeah,
especially when it
yeah,
comes to reviews. Amazon doesn't play with reviews.
yeah.
The
I
gray
don't, I
zone is
don't
becoming less and less gray and more black and white.
yeah, you said it right. But 2 or 3, and I would go ahead.
Yeah. I know this is technically against terms of service, but if your mother was to just happen to leave you a review, what are they going to do?
Yeah, with a different last
I
name.
wouldn't, although I wouldn't say I recommend it as a suggestion.
Yeah.
All right. So Royce says, I understand I should not expect to make money for the first several months, but PPC cost is what's affecting me. If I use strategy of starting low price, increase bids with strong bids during peak hours, where ACoS is over 100%, if my organic sales are still not high enough after several months to reduce tacos, what should I do to reduce soon? I can't continue to have ACoS continue to stay high if organic sales isn't coming in enough.
Yeah, it must be that you're doing something wrong on your listing. So as Kevin suggested, run a pick foo experiment, see how you're doing, and most probably you'll be shocked by the responses because don't get me wrong, it's easy to fall in love with your product, but
Mm-hmm.
put that to the public decision and then move on from there. If you're still having high ACoS, but your organic sales are not coming in, okay, competition is high, CPC is high, but um, you want to maximize your conversion rate and do everything by the book, optimize for mobile too, and then you will see if you increase your conversion rate, that it means that uh, you will jump from just one people buying after 10 clicks to buy for 2 people buying after 10 clicks and then 3 or whatever it is in your case. But make sure to optimize your listing and um, also make sure to optimize it for mobile. So don't browse your listing on your desktop. You must use your
Mm.
shopping app and then see is it are you communicating your message about your product correctly. You said if I'm not mistaken, your product is high end, high quality, but you need to send that image to your potential buyers through images on your mobile because let's face it, today people are buying from toilet seats, unfortunately, while in the cars waiting for their kids. So everybody is on mobile. So why optimize for desktop? We often see those really nice images, but they look nice on desktop. But when you see them on mobile, the text is really small, information is not communicated correctly, people need to zoom in, they need to focus what's going on, they need to review to read the reviews and everything. Just focus on optimization, your optimization your listing, and don't be afraid of ACoS being in the hundreds. That's perfectly normal. I know it scares you, but that's perfectly normal during the product launch. But if you're not optimizing correctly, then you're wasting money.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be a listing optimization problem. They have a click-through rate over
Yeah, there you go.
0.75%, which is actually pretty decent.
Depending, maybe it's
Depending,
poor. Maybe it's poor,
maybe it's
depending on
poor.
the
It also
category.
depends on where are these. Are you getting more on product pages, or are you getting more like top of search? If this is top of search, that's not great. But if you're looking at like aggregate,
Mm.
All right, I'll let Igor give his opinion.
Yeah,
before I
check your
chime in with
placement
mine.
reports. Check your placement reports and see where you're getting those clicks. And if needed, optimize only for one. If that based on the data, if you see that you had, I don't know, 14 clicks on top of search and had a decent conversion rate, then I would then isolate that placement and only push for those. So lower your main bid and increase your top of search placement modifier to whatever. Like 100, 200, 300, and then that way you will isolate traffic only to top of search, or if that's rest of search for you or product display pages, then go that way.
Gotcha. Where do I find?
You can see those in your campaign manager, and you can pull that reports from standard sponsor ads reports. If you don't know that, just Google that. Everybody did
There's
a
a
tutorial on that.
drop down with tons of reports. I would play around with all those different reports. Sometimes I'm shocked with what data I find in there.
Yeah.
After how many clicks with 0 orders should I negate a keyword in auto campaign? Also, the root keyword is having 30 clicks but 0 orders. Should I negate the main keyword in this scenario?
If you did your homework and optimized your listing, then let's say that you did that, and we're moving forward with the optimized listing. Depending on your conversion rate, so you can calculate how many sales you usually get with your conversion rate. So if you have 10% conversion rate, that means after 10 clicks you're getting sale on average. So I would go double than that, just to be sure if the keyword is relevant. So if you should convert after 10 clicks, I would give it to go over to 20 clicks, and if nothing happens, then either lower the bid on that keyword rather than the negate if it's that relevant. But because if you lower the bid, you can, for example, if the average bid is $1.2 and you lower the bid to, I don't know, 60 cents, still you're going to compete somewhere in some placements where, I don't know, it's less competition, and you can land a few sales and at the low cost. So I would leave them there. So I would negate.
Yeah, and the thing about the main keyword, a lot of times people talk about like main keyword, like it's like, yeah, but like it's just like this is the keyword I should be going after. One example I like to use is markers. Depends on what kind of markers you're selling. If you're selling dry erase markers versus like Sharpie markers or red marker versus black marker, the word markers might get the lion's share of search traffic, but it may not be what you are selling. Maybe it's
Right.
dry erase marker or adult coloring book markers set or something like that. So look at the products and how similar are they to yours, and are they serving the same audience? And if they're not, it's not the main keyword for you. But I hear people a lot of times talk about the main keyword, but if you challenge it, like, is this really the right keyword? They're not 100% sure. Maybe this Mohammed is in this case, but I do hear that a lot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I always base my decisions on conversion rate. So, for example, I'm helping out a seller who's selling. Okay, it's a completely different scenario, but it's about the data. So the point is that you really need to analyze what's in your case, but it's not like you need to now. If I tell you, yeah, 30 clicks is a threshold, then you go ahead, and if you use some automation, then you set up everything to pause after 30 clicks and say, hey, Igor told me that. But it's about calculating for your average conversion rate. And now you can even calculate your conversion rate, at least estimate on a keyword level. So use that too and decide, is it maybe okay to pause after 30, or if your product is high priced, then you can do that after 130. I have a seller with that, so he lands a sale after 200 clicks, and it's still 5% ACoS. Yeah.
That's definitely not a cheap product.
No, it's not. But still, nothing is black and white, unfortunately, in PPC. So there's no definite number. But if I need to give you, then that's based on conversion rate, and you can calculate that on your account level, which is a quick solution. And you can also calculate that per, I don't know, per product or per keyword, and then have a I have check my YouTube channel. I have a really good breakdown and a free template for that. You can use on
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Amazonia PPC. Should pop in right. And I think a few months ago I did a video on that, and I try to share always that the templates that I personally use those templates when estimating the budgets and calculations and everything.
All right, very good. Yeah, I'm looking at your channel right now.
Yeah, we used to record like 5 years ago, but then we stopped. We gotten lazy. My wife was doing a lot of content in the past, and then we just stopped because the agency was doing great at that time, and now we just restarted recently to record. So there'll be plenty more coming in.
Yeah, it looks like you just had Steven on recently to talk about launch strategies, so that's nice.
Yeah, we did. That
All
was
right, well,
that was
very good.
interesting.
Yes, good stuff. All right, folks. Well, make sure to ask your questions. We do have plenty of spots available. The lines are open, so to speak, as if this is like a radio talk show in the 1980s.
Right.
But go ahead and ask your question. I will just say this, Royce, you asked a lot of good questions. So email kevin@myamazonguy.com. If I don't reply within 48 hours, nudge me until I do, because sometimes these type of emails go to spam. Don't say you want anything. Just say, hey, you said to email you about the PPC course, and I will give you the My Amazon Guy PPC course. If you already have it, I'll give you something else. We'll give you another My Amazon Guy Mag School course because we want to hook you up. A lot of good questions out there. So what else are you seeing right now, Igor, in PPC that would be helpful for folks?
For example, I can tell you what I'm not seeing.
Okay.
And I think people should be talking more about it. I think if I have time, I'll post that on LinkedIn today. But I'm preparing a post about sponsor brands placement adjustments. So everybody's talking about sponsor product, and when you say placement adjustments, everybody assumes it's about sponsor product placement adjustment. But many neglect that sponsor brands offer also placement adjustments, but it's a little bit hidden. So it's not available through the user interface, but you need to pull a report, go to the sponsor ad reports, then create new report, choose from the drop down sponsor brands, and then choose. You have two options for sponsor brands. One is campaign placement report, which will give you something similar to what you can see in sponsor products. But the other one, more interesting one, that's a keyword placement report. So you get placement information for sponsor brands on keyword level, regardless if it's a single keyword campaign or not. So you can have hundreds of keywords in single campaign. That report's going to give you a sponsor brand placement information. Very, very useful stuff for sponsor brands. And then based on that, I also did a long video on that on our YouTube channel, I think just the other day. But based on that, you can actually see if you want to let Amazon auto optimize your placements. There's a button like when you create a campaign, but you can switch that on even if you have your old campaign running, is that optimize my placements other than top of search, something like that, along those lines. So when you have that optimized, then Amazon is lowering the bids for placements other than top of search. But if you tick that off, then you let other placements perform well as well.
Right.
And then when you analyze that, for example, I've seen some cases where it's really huge. One, very often you see inflated number of impressions. I mean, not that those impressions are worth it. Impressions are complete bullshit, pardon my language. But we talked so a lot about impressions, but impressions doesn't mean anything. Impression is that when your ad is served somewhere, nobody saw it, but it's served. That's an impression. So you get 1,000 unseen impressions, and you think you have a reach. You don't have a reach. And you can see that by analyzing sports on display and sports on brand campaigns roughly, that viewable impression, that is like when 50% of your ad, of your listing is seen for more than 1 second. That's a viewable impression. And very often that number is 3 times less than the actual impressions. So don't get fooled by the impression number, like, hey, I'm getting impressions, because just nonsense, as many of the other metrics we take for granted. So yeah, those analyze those sponsor brand placement report, and you will see that very often your end result without placement report is inflated, like the number of impressions, number of clicks. You can sometimes see that other placements other than top of search are performing really well, while the top of search, for example, is too competitive for you. So that's my free nugget for everybody.
Very nice. All right, so your free nugget was about sponsored brands placement.
Right.
Subsafi asks, I've never got good results from sponsored display campaigns. How do you use it? So what are your recommendations for sponsored display?
Yeah, we don't use it for reach at all unless somebody specifically asks us. What I love to use it for, that's attacking competitors with sponsored display, because your placements for sponsored display on product display pages is right about below the buy box, and we use sponsored display for remarketing purposes. So you set it up just to have it. You can split it by campaigns, but very often that's not needed. We create one sponsored display remarketing campaign, and you set the audiences to use 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days look back for views, and then you set the highest bid towards the 7-day and lowest bid towards the 30 days. And then we let it on. So set as the second use, and for sponsored display defensive purposes, also to protect your listings from somebody who's using sponsored display ads to attack your listing. That's also very useful. It doesn't need to give you good results, but if you're protecting that and your listing, and you're over there, maybe nobody clicks it, but you're protecting your competitor from showing up there. And plus, for remarketing purposes, it chases your viewers all around the internet. That's a little bit creepy, but it does. We don't have the reports on that, but I've seen Amazon remarketing on Yahoo Mail and various other places.
Got it. Roysh1 asks, most of my sale I see in rest of search, but interestingly enough, many times I'm on the first page as a sponsored product and organically on page 2. I'm ranking with my current ASIN at rank 66. So most of the sales are coming from rest of search. Can you just explain the difference between rest of search, top of search, and
yeah, why not?
Sponsored product pages?
Yeah. At first, I'll be brutally honest. If somebody doesn't know that and is selling on Amazon, then go read something on that topic. Honestly, because that's something that everybody should know when they started selling. But if I'll give you just
well, we could have new people here that are still trying to figure it out.
No, for those who already started, I said, and still don't know that.
Oh, gotcha.
I suggest that just go, because I remember when we started, there was like literally 4 YouTube videos on Amazon PPC, and that was like Brian Johnson and Sean Smith recording with, like, I don't know, like 80s camera. It was awful, but that was everything that you get on Amazon PPC in 2016. And now there's so many things available, so many knowledge is shared, that it's really easy to get to know everything. But top of search, that's when you, on the search result page, you get that top row. So that's top of search. That's most important, that's most expensive and most competitive placement. Then you have rest of search, that's mostly something below the fold when you scroll down, and you have product display pages, which is on your product pages and your competitors' product pages. When you scroll down, when those suggested by your whatever, there are several lines for those placements. And you said most of the sales come in rest of search. That may be the case for you because maybe it's so expensive, as you said. So that's why with your bits, you can only aim to have sales on rest of search, which is logical based on what you share with us already.
Yeah, and sometimes just take the sales where you get them.
Yeah, but he said like he's many times I'm on the first page as a sponsor product. Yeah, but first page can be
Right, that can be way down low.
way down low, so it depends where you're positioned. But keep pushing it, keep testing. There's no magic potion that we can give you or recipe, but just keep pushing and playing with the placement, playing with the bids. Go with those automatic campaigns set to really low bids and try to grab some sales over there. So there are many tactics, many cheap tactics that you can use.
Got it. When is a good time for folks to get into, this is now me asking questions. So feel free, if you have questions, drop them into the chat. We're actually pretty nice guys. I know, like, Igor is nice.
We
I
don't
may
look
seem
like
super
that, but
intimidating.
we're good.
But we're more than happy to answer your questions. But just drop them in. We'll get to them as soon as we can. One question I do have is, when do you think it's right for people to think about DSP, for example? I'm looking at your YouTube channel for topics that you've talked about.
Yeah, DSP can be used for various purposes. Not only, I mean, typical recommendation is that you get into DSP once everything is done on your campaign manager, your sponsor products, sponsor brands. That's like a general recommendation, but it doesn't need to be like that. Now the threshold to enter the DSP is much lower than in the past. So you can, for example, use DSP to gather data, for example, on your audience, because in DSP you can specify in details the audience that you want to target, and then when you get results on the clicks, on the reach, on many other points like technology used, then you can actually gather data that and assume that it's similar on sponsored products and use that data to optimize your listing better, for example, because reports on DSP are much more detailed than on sponsored products. So that's one use case, but you can also use DSP just because for guys just starting out, I suppose they don't have access to Amazon Marketing Cloud or any other software that can give you those information on paths to purchase. But very often, again, Google offers that to everybody. That's funny, but here we're just waiting for Amazon to unlock that for everybody. But there's a path to purchase, and when you analyze that, you can see, for example, if somebody saw your sponsor product ad, they convert X on like a certain percentage of conversion rate. But if they saw your sponsor brand, then saw your DSP ad and SD ad, then conversion rate is 2x. So for those kind of scenarios, you can use DSP. It's not like increase brand awareness. That really often sounds like nothing, but it matters to advertise. For example, in preparation for Q4, you can advertise just for reach, but the real reach, not the impressions, but real reach, by having an awesome video ad for Prime Video, and then you will prep your future potential buyers before Q4. Like you will be known at least, because those ads cannot be skipped.
Nice. Another question that came in is, can we see viewable impressions for sponsored products?
Unfortunately not. I think that's available through PackView or some other software, maybe IntentWise, I'm not sure. But other than that, you cannot.
I was under the impression that an impression in sponsored products was based on it had to show up on the screen. Now, how they fully measure that, I don't know.
They just said that your ad is served. That's tricky, you know, or sneaky.
It's kind of sneaky.
Yeah, it's served. No, on the fourth page, on the bottom, it's served, so you get one impression.
Can I get comped into the MAG PPC course, please? I like the emojis there at the end. Well, make sure you come to these. And when I say I'm going to reward participation, make sure to start asking questions. That would probably be the best time to do it. And if I promised it to you before and I did not, you can always email me and ask me, hey, or forward me the original request and say, hey, 2 weeks ago you promised me something and you haven't delivered. So, because sometimes I'll say like, hey, yeah, just email whatever, and not everybody emails. And then every now and then I'll find one in my junk
Yeah,
mailbox. But
people are very often scared to follow up.
don't be scared.
Thinking,
Don't be
yeah,
scared. We're actually pretty nice people here.
yeah, but in general, I see that follow-ups actually get the job done very often because we are
Very
so
true.
overwhelmed with information that if I see a follow-up, then okay, it's urgent. And um, one good friend told me once that he only replies to the emails with a follow-up. So he sorts his
That's
inbox.
an interesting
So
take.
if there's two emails about with the same subject, then it's important. You know, if
Okay,
not,
that's
then
interesting.
just select all and delete.
That's not how Steven does emails. Even before I was at Mag, sometimes I would send him an email. It could be 11 o'clock at night. I'm thinking like, okay, in like the next couple days, maybe I'll hear back. 4 minutes later, I already responded. I'm like, how does he keep up? All right. So, where do I get your email? I said it earlier. I don't know if you heard it. Kevin@myamazonguy.com. So my name, KEVIN at myamazonguy.com. So first name at myamazonguy.com. All right. So then Royce also asks, I'm still trying to navigate through PPC. Don't worry, we're here to help you with it. I understand the placement, so it's hard figuring it out. It's trying to get a catch outsmarting a fast mouse when all you're trying to do is get the aha moments. We're all chasing the aha moments.
Yeah, really, there's so much information out there. Don't stick only to one YouTube channel, but try to figure it out. It's sometimes not the knowledge that someone possesses; it's how they deliver the explanation and that knowledge. So try if you don't get it from a certain YouTube channel, try a few others, and because it's about the presentation, not because the topic is the same, the solutions are the same, but how someone delivers the knowledge can make a huge difference on every topic. I've seen that on my own example.
Yeah, and a lot of times it comes down to like you just got to test things. And someone else will explain the same concept. I can explain something one way, Igor explains it another way. You can be like, well, yeah, Igor's way makes more sense to me. So just listen to different people, and come to these type of Q&As. Ask the question. We got a different guest. Ask the same question again to the different guest, and they'll probably give you a different answer. That's fine. Um, people in the PPC world don't always 100% agree on things because oftentimes we see different things.
Yeah.
So test.
Yeah, speaking about tests, there's a free little tool from Amazon that you can use to test how well Amazon algorithm and Amazon AI, Cosmo, or whatever they call it, understands your listing. It's called Amazon Comprehend. It's completely free for a year, and you can do a bunch of tests on that. You just need to set up your AWS account, which is also free, and you get access to Amazon Comprehend, and you get access to Amazon Recognition. That's another topic. But on Amazon Comprehend, you can actually upload your image and even upload your video, and then let it analyze how well the system understands your listing, what's written in the images, what overlay text. So that's why it's important to have those infographics or packaging on your images and see if it actually understands. And it will give you a percentage of how sure the system is in determining what's an image. It can be really detailed image. You can there's an example like of an image of a skater on a New York street, and it's analyzed what's happening on the image, and they said, hey, we are 60% sure that this is on the image, and then you can upload your product listing images and see if is it worth it testing out more, or maybe adding some overlay text, some more infographics. So that's something that you can do. It supports images, and I think Amazon Recognition is the similar tool, but for videos. So, and they also allow to test a bunch of that for free. So all about testing. It's free. If you can't afford Big Foo, then try that one as well. No, Royce, you don't need to pay for AWS. Just Google that and log in. It's completely free. You fill your details, and you then get access to so many things on AWS. You can explore that. Yeah, I think I know it's completely free for a year, but even after that, it's really cheap. Like uh, those are mostly, as Kevin is sharing, those are mostly for some enterprise uses because. But if you just analyze an image here and there, then it's completely free. Or you will pay like for 1,000 images, you will pay like $1, something like that, because it's machine, so the costs are low. Kevin, are you speaking something? You're muted, probably. I can see your lips.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're definitely inexpensive. Like they're really more going after like to your point, the enterprise crowd, like
Yeah.
people that have lots and lots and lots of data, which would add up quickly. But if you're using this to, take a look at a couple of listings, or even if you had 100 listings, that would be pretty cost effective. So looks like he just did it. So that's great. All right, so this will be a last call for questions. So if you have any questions, drop them into the Q&A. Just keep punching. It'll get. Oh,
yeah, I respond to Royce. Yeah, guys. As I said, there's a plenty of information out there, and if you have time, take time to go through the Amazon Campaign Manager interface. Hover over to each one of those tips above the impressions, above the click-through rates, then click learn more, and then go to the Amazon documentation. You'll be surprised how well it is actually documented on most of the stuff. If you're that kind of person. If not, then if you're a visual guy, then just go on YouTube. But if you are a type of person who learns by reading, then just go bit by bit and read. Amazon is actually pretty good on documenting everything. So just go there and indulge yourself into all of that, and keep testing. And many people neglect those reports. So go through the reports one by one, and you will be surprised how many information you can get from there.
Yes, good point. So AWS is another way of getting Amazon to audit my listing. In a way, yes.
No, it's gonna, yeah, in a way, yes, but that's gonna just show you when you go. Every AWS is not a tool. That's like a set of tools, set of, I don't know, like Google tools, Google Workspace. But one of the tools there is Amazon Comprehend, and that tool is what Amazon is using to analyze images. So if you use their tool to analyze your images manually, you get information on how Amazon sees your product listing. I did a video on that too, so check our channel and see for yourself. It's a short video, but it's I think I did a good job in presenting that.
Yes, make sure to go subscribe to the Amazonia PPC channel or on YouTube. Lots of good content. Love it here. So make sure you are subscribed. Then if you folks want to learn more from you or follow you, where should they go?
For direct questions, they can message me on LinkedIn. They can ask comments on YouTube videos. We tend to answer each one of them. And yeah, our website is there for any other information about our team and how we do things. But yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on here, Igor, and sharing the knowledge. And thank you, everybody, for asking lots of good questions. And for those of you who just watched, thank you for making it all the way to the end.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.